Kia ora, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news the global economy is slowing amid a gloomy and uncertain outlook. The IMF lowered its growth forecast for the global economy to 3.2% in 2022 from 3.6% in its April review, while the outlook for inflation was revised higher due to a surge in food and energy prices, as well as lingering supply-demand imbalances. And the American economy is seen growing at 2.3% this year, down from 3.7% seen in April. And China's GDP is now expected to expand at 3.3% compared to 4.4% earlier. Even though they say the outlook has darkened significantly, they are still forecasting 2022 growth, and that might surprise some bears. But the fact remains it is still expanding in the major economies, and that is expected to continue even into 2023. American retail sales rose at the fastest clip last week that we've seen for the past 4 weeks, and certainly far more than can be accounted for by inflation. But new home sales in the US tailed off rather sharply in June, and slipping below the 600,000 annualised rate for the first time since March 2020. And American consumer sentiment dropped again in July, according to a Conference Board survey. The decrease was driven primarily by the present situation index, a sign growth has slowed at the start of the third quarter. The expectations index held relatively steady. But it was not all gloom. The Richmond Fed's regional July surveys were both indicating improvements in the Mid-Atlantic states region. Across the Pacific, South Korea reported its second quarter GDP that showed a pickup in economic growth to 2.9% from a year ago and well above analyst estimates. In Singapore, even though industrial production was still slightly ahead of year-ago levels in June, that masked the sharpest fall away between May and June that is worth keeping an eye on. And EU countries, bracing for further cuts in Russian gas supply, approved an emergency plan to curb demand after striking compromise deals to limit reductions for some small countries. And the US Treasury 10-year yield starts today at 2.79%, down 2 basis points from this time yesterday. And the price of gold will open today at $1,718 an ounce in New York, and that's down $2 from this time yesterday. And oil prices are little changed at just over $95 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is just over $100 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar will open today almost a half a cent weaker than this time yesterday at 62.3 US cents. Against the Australian dollar, also softer at 89.8 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're down to 61.6 euro cents. That means our trade weighted index starts today at 71 and 20 basis points lower than this time yesterday. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston.